What color hair does Nelson Raposo have?
Light brown, it's thinning. He always wears a funny little hat.
Okay, so you're positive this is the guy?
I am.
Okay, let's bring the defendant in. Ooh, I can't wait.
This is the plaintiff, Donna Colato. She says she hired the defendant to build her a patio, and he did a great job. Over the winter, the steps began to crack, so she called him to complain. He acted like he didn't even know her, denied doing her job, and refuses to make the repairs. She had to hire someone else to correct his mistakes. She paid him $2,000 and is suing for just that today.
Raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. The litigant has been sworn.
Thank you. Ms. Colato, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna do things a little bit differently in this case, as you can probably see, that there's no one standing at the defendant's table just now. The reason for that is because, as you know, the defendant's defense is that you've got the wrong guy. So I intend to ask you some questions about what happened and have you describe that person. And it wouldn't be fair to him to be standing here while you're describing him. All you got to do is look to the left, right? So I asked for him to stay outside. He's watching through closed circuit right now. So what happened here?
I hired Nelson Raposo to do a patio for me in August, the beginning of August, and he started it. It was supposed to take 3 to 5 days, weather permitting. It ended up taking almost a month. The end of August, it was finished. And then in February...
Now, you were first happy with it, right?
I was happy with it, yeah.
What happened in February?
Well, with all the snow, I was shoveling the back patio, and I noticed against the house, the ledge that was built was just crumbling and disintegrating all the way down.
Do you have pictures of it? Did you send us
do.
pictures? All right. Let's see the pictures. Okay, here's the before patio. Is this before what?
That's what it looked like before he started it.
Before he started.
That's finished.
And who is that up there?
That's Nelson Raposo.
Okay. How tall is he?
Maybe 5'7", 5'8", a little taller than me.
Where's he from? Do you know?
I believe Taunton.
Okay. Who's that?
That's who he says is not him. When I was in contact with him on the phone, he texted me that was supposed to be a picture of himself.
Okay, so hold on. You had a number for Nelson, what's the name?
Raposo.
Nelson Raposo.
I have 2 different numbers for him.
No, but hold on, slow down. You had an original number and just one number.
Yes.
And then what happened? You couldn't reach him at that number anymore?
I did reach him at that number, but somehow he called me on another number at home, and the caller ID said Wendy Raposo, which is his wife. I did a little investigating, and it's his wife.
Okay.
So I noticed, the number. I used that number from then on, and I recognized his voice, and he still swore it wasn't him.
Okay. What color hair does Nelson Raposo have?
Light brown, it's thinning. He always wears a funny little hat.
Okay. So you're positive this is the guy?
I am.
Okay, let's bring the defendant in. Ooh, I can't wait. Hi. How are you?
Good, and you want to?
Good.
Swear him in.
Yeah, swear him in.
Raise your right hand for me, please. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God? All yours, Your Honor.
What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
Not him.
Right. Mr. Raposo, who are you?
Another
Nelson Raposo.
Correct.
When was the first time you heard from the plaintiff?
First time she called me, I guess it was 9:11 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock the most.
And?
She kept calling me so much times that when I told her it wasn't me. And I even told her, so she kept arresting me and calling me and texting me and calling me and
Okay,
texting
where do you live?
I live in Providence, Rhode Island.
And where does the person who did your job is from another place?
Taunton.
Okay, so how did she get your number? She claims that the number she called was the second number, Wendy's number. You claim it's Wendy's number. Is there a Wendy in your life?
No.
Can I see your license?
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That's his name. It's exactly who he says he is.
East Taunton?
No.
That's crazy.
It is.
Well, it's not. It's crazy only if you went to if you're mistaken. I'd like to think you're mistaken and not lying. If you just went online and tried to find a contractor who was named Nelson Raposo and then picked the wrong Nelson Raposo, it's awful. Your testimony under oath is, oh, no, Judge, the number I talked to that guy on was my Nelson's wife's because he called me. You have like a very, solid explanation for that. So the only way that you could be right is if the real Nelson Raposo sent in a fake to come in today to say, I don't know what you're talking about, except for that this guy's name is Nelson Raposo and he lives in Rhode Island. And that's who you picked. So I don't think you called Wendy's number. I think you picked a number out of a hat. I think you found a Nelson Raposo online, picked a number, and started calling this one. And you told her she was wrong. What do you do for a living?
I'm a contractor. I'm a painter.
Do you do masonry work?
No, I don't.
Have you ever done masonry work?
I did, but not patios.
Have you ever done a patio like hers?
No, sir.
Okay, so you told her that, and what did she say or do?
She said I'm a liar so many times, and other names I'm not even going to say here. I went through a lot of stuff with her. I even took a picture of myself in the morning, less than 8 o'clock in the morning, and sent it to her. This is me. I sent it to her, and she still didn't believe me.
She
called
thought
me a
that maybe
thief.
her Nelson Rapato had gotten, hey, wake up, take a picture of yourself to
And
somebody
I asked
else.
her,
at 8 in
Your
the morning.
Honor, I asked her, do you have a picture of the guy who did? She sent me that picture and more.
Yeah,
which is I have here.
Yeah.
And I look at the picture, I was like, wow, this guy is like, he doesn't look like me at all.
No, how tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
Right,
This is
and-
what I told her. And she told me my husband is 6'3".
What does that have to do with anything?
That's what I told her. I say, my husband is 6'3". You a thief,
Miss
you a liar.
Collado, if the guy's telling you, don't you want to sue the right guy?
I do, and I actually, when I went to the courthouse, I looked up, well, I knew his wife's name was Wendy Raposa, and I saw the picture of him. So I went down to the Registry of Deeds, and the house is where they live.
Did you serve
that's who
this
I-
person at that house?
I thought the court took care of that. I put the address that I have on the paperwork for the small claims case, and I just thought they would serve him at that address. That's what I thought.
Well, then how on earth could we contact you?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't understand.
Because one of her friends on Facebook did a research on me.
Of course that's how it happened. I
And
know
then-
that's the only way to get the wrong guy. And I know that you're suing the wrong guy because I know he's really him. So now he's got a counterclaim against you for $5,000 for harassment.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey 11 here. Can you get sued for defamation for putting an untruthful review on Yelp?
No, it's an opinion. So how would anybody be able to prove whether you actually did it or not?
But what if it's untruthful? What if you say something that's not opinion, but untruthful?
Yeah, that sounds completely false. You should definitely be able to get sued for that.
You should.
Yes.
What?
I think so. You know what? It teaches other people not to do it. And people go to Yelp to get good reviews and to see who's good and who's not. So,
Fair enough.
be truthful.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
So were you laughing when she called you? Like, did you?
Actually, I told it was a joke.
How many times did she call you?
I can count.
No,
So many.
I need you to count them.
Probably 20, 30 times on those days.
That
or more
many?
than that, and text messages too.
During the court, how many times did she call you? 20 to 30 times?
At least.
During the course of how long?
Because she didn't call me no more because I blocked her. Then,
Yeah, you should have done that on the second call.
I
mean,
know because I told it was a joke. And then she said, after I blocked her, she sent me a friend on Facebook and then the messages for me to be friend of her. That's when I knew who she was because I click in the picture, I scroll it down, and I see all the comments from people saying she should have contact BBB, Better Business Barry. Somebody
Bureau.
says, Barry, yeah, sorry. And somebody says you should have show up in his house, and he has the specific guy or a woman says like this is how she get me. He lives in Providence. She says, I just send you your address his address, his name, and his phone number where he lives.
How do you know all that? Because it was on her Facebook, on her
On
public
her
page?
Facebook, yes, Your Honor.
Did that happen? Did a friend of yours from Providence say, here's the guy?
Gave me the Providence address, but when I did the investigating, I found out he lived in East Taunton.
Except for that you're a liar then, because you told me that the number that he possesses is a number that called your house when you spoke to the right Nelson Raposo, and that's not true. You just told me now that it's exactly like he said. You just did an internet search, or your friend did. Your friend gave you a number, and you decided to sue the person in Providence. That's what you did.
But I didn't sue the person in Providence.
Well,
I did the one in Taunton.
Yes, you did. You're lying about how you got this guy's phone number. Do you know the person who gave her your name?
No, not at all.
Did they also give your phone number?
Mm-hmm. And they create a Yap page too against me, Nelson Raposo, talking bad things about me. I'm a thief. Everything.
That you're a thief?
Yeah, only in America.
You put a Yelp review on this guy?
Of Nelson Raposo.
How
That's
long
the
ago
only
did you
one
do
that
that?
I know.
Yeah, but you're the wrong guy. You just basically took the word of some friend of yours and said, hey, I found some guy in Providence. And you're like, woohoo! The phone number that you got is for the wrong guy. And if you don't realize that by now, there's no hope for you. I think you should realize that by now.
Oh, well, I know that's not the right guy.
You have dragged the guy into court. You have called him 20, 30 times. You have trashed his business on Yelp, and it's the wrong guy, right? So now he wants $5,000. He's counterclaiming against you. You have a court date in Taunton, don't you?
Yes.
Do not dismiss that court date. Go to Taunton, and you're going to see your Nelson Rapato
I hope so. I hope so.
Because between the time you filed the case and now, he has probably been served. If you have not dismissed that case because you came to the People's Court.
I haven't dismissed it.
You haven't. Do not. And you can have your party with the right Nelson. Now what do I do with this Nelson, who has come all the way down from Providence to face the music because you claim that you had for sure the right number, and we know you didn't, that you got that number through some generic way. Somebody goes, hey, sue this guy. Oh, that sounds good. I mean, how long ago did you put that Yelp review?
August, maybe.
Okay, I am ordering you to write a Yelp review saying you had the wrong guy. Or do you want her just to take it down? What do you want?
I wanted to take him down.
Take it down. I'm ordering you to take it down. In fact, you're going to take it down before you leave my courthouse. That's how much I want you to take it down. All right? So you're going to take it down. Now, what do I do about the fact that this guy has traveled all the way over here, has listened to your phone calls, ended up getting sued? What do I do about that?
Just want the right thing. That's all.
Yeah, well, it's not worth $5,000. Of course not. I mean, I might pay $5,000 to have this story. I'm ordering you to pay the man. You do have to be careful about stuff like this. You know, this causes people angst. Getting sued causes people angst. You have to sue the right guy. Now, in fairness to her, the address that she put on was not the address that the friend gave from Providence.
No.
Yeah, and so she didn't pick that address to sue you at. She picked the other address. She thought she had the right guy. You know that, right? She thought that the right guy was a snake pretending to be the wrong guy. You understand what I'm saying? All right, I'm going to order the plaintiff to pay the defendant $500 for his troubles. I think that's
Your
fair.
Honor.
Good luck, folks.
Well, in what I believe may be a first here in the People's Court, the plaintiff has sued the wrong person and got him into court. How do you feel about this?
I don't know how the address and the phone number got mixed up, but this isn't him, and he was from Taunton, so I don't know.
No, he's not from Taunton.
No, not him, but the one that did my patio.
You were bugging him on the phone.
I called him a few times, not 20 or 30, but definitely called him. He sounded familiar to me.
Do you feel sorry for him?
I do a little bit.
Maybe I'll apologize.
Apologies.
Is that how you do it? Apologies?
Yeah.
Well, got another court case coming up.
Yes.
Good luck to you that time.
Thank you.
Make sure you got the right guy.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you, ma'am. Will the real Nelson Raposo step out here? He just did. He just did. How are you?
Good, and you?
What an experience, huh?
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I mean, kind of crazy to get sued, and you know you're not the guy.
Of course not. It's not good being sued like being somebody else.
Do you think it's hurt your business at all, or you don't know?
I don't know. That's a big mark question right now.
Okay. Well, you made it to the People's Court. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir.
And congratulations for winning. Thank you.
you.
Okay, very good. Harvey?
Doug, she did go back to court. The real Raposo showed up and she won her case. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Shang Dai. He says he moved out of the defendant's house where he was renting a room, caused absolutely no damage, but can't get the guy to return a security deposit. When he asked the defendant why he was refusing to return it, the snake told him he let the dog out of the house. Huh? Nothing happened to the dog, and he doesn't believe that's grounds for keeping his $600. That's why he's suing. This is the defendant, Peter Adams. He says the plaintiff was getting a lot of complaints from the other tenants. He cooked late in the kitchen, spoke very loudly on the phone at 1 a.m., and he asked him to move out because he was nothing but trouble. He also let his dog out, even though a 400-pound bear was at the house the day before, eating sunflower seeds out of his bird feeder. Oh, him. No way. He's accused of stiffing a guy.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff rented a room from the defendant. The defendant will not return the plaintiff's security because he let the dogs out. The defendant says the plaintiff was a loud talker and cooked really late, not to mention the dogs. It's the case of you let the dogs out.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Mr. Adams.
Yes.
You have a 3-bedroom house, correct? And you rent out rooms?
Yes.
All right. One of the rooms you rented out was to Mr. Dai. How
Yes.
long were you living there?
I have been living there for about six months.
It was a month to month?
No, actually, we signed the lease.
For how long?
For 6 months, yes.
Oh, okay. So then when your lease was over, were you planning on staying there?
No.
Okay. Had he asked you to stay there, or did you want to stay there, or did he ask you to just move on?
Actually, I told him I'm going to move out. I'm going to find another place.
Okay. And your version of this is different. According to you, you told him you can't renew, you need to leave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was arrogant. He was loud. He'd close cabinet doors and slam things. He was a slammer. He probably wasn't even aware of how loud he was.
Okay.
And it wasn't
So
working with the two
He
other
decides
guys.
he's leaving. That's fine with you.
We agree on that, yeah.
Okay. Everybody agrees. So it's your last month there. Then you ask for your security deposit when?
Early May.
And then when did you realize
message.
he had no plans to return your security deposit?
Just the incidents, and then he claimed his dog went out, and then it was my fault, and then so that's why he decided.
When did he tell you that?
One week before I moved out.
Okay, so a week before you move out, he tells you you're not getting your security deposit back. Why?
Well, I mean, there's other issues. He had electric heater in his room. In his lease on number 6, it says no electric heaters.
Okay, may I see the lease?
Sure.
Did you have an electric heater in your room?
I just used actually one day, and because that particular day was the temperature was really, really cold.
Okay. There are no electric heaters allowed in any rooms. Okay. And according to you, how long did he have an electric heater?
Probably about at least 3 months.
Are you guessing? How many times did you see an electric heater is what I'm
Well,
asking.
I don't have a tendency to go in their room in general, but then when the electric bill kept going up.
Do you have the bills so I can see the systematic rise?
Sure.
Okay.
My highest bills usually were about $130.
Here's what I want. I want to see your bills from last year before he was there so I can compare them to your bills from this year. Is that
I
what
have
you have?
I have a few months before he was there.
Well, no, that's when it's warmer.
Yeah, that's
sweetheart.
right. Yeah,
That's not how this works.
Yeah, because that particular
This
day is
works
something.
like comparing him being there with somebody else being there. That's how you show me that there was an inordinate rise in your electric bill. Of course, your electric bill is going to rise in the
This is
winter.
what I have. So.
Okay, well then you can give it
the
back. I don't
months
even
are
need
on
to see
there.
it. That's fine.
The months
All
are on
right, now there was the real issue, and the thing that really made you angry is that there was an incident towards the end,
Right.
where, according to you, he walks out and let your dog out and didn't get your dog back in. Your dog doesn't go out normally, like that's not, your dog doesn't.
Well, he doesn't go out if we're not home. He let the dog out. It's all on video.
No, I see his dog actually often out of the house and without a leash. So this is always happen. This is
Okay, but is he with the dog when the dog's off leash and out of the house?
I'm on 2 acres, ma'am.
I'm not
Did
sure.
you?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a yes. And then, but my question to you is, did you one day in late May, was it? What day was it?
May 17th.
On May 17th, did you open the door and accidentally let the dog out?
I don't even know. Actually, I was moving out. I didn't even see the dog coming out. So
Okay.
when he
All
was
right,
in.
there are 9 videos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's a bear
6,
video
7,
of the
8,
bear
9,
3 days
10.
before he let my dog out.
Oh,
There's
I want to see the
surveil-
bear video because
Yeah.
I just want to see the bear video.
This
Wow.
is 3 days before he left the dog out, and he was there when the bear was there trying to get in sunflower seeds.
I didn't see the bear at all.
Okay,
so,
everybody calm down. I didn't ask who saw the bear. Now there's a series of videos, but I don't know what order they're
Exactly, yes.
supposed to prove something.
Well, the first one I sent, you'll see the dog come out in the left-hand corner. See, Noah just came out
Okay,
to
I
the
see
left
the
hand.
dog.
Yeah, he just left. He just
right,
came out.
who left the door
don't
open
know, yeah.
though?
Well, he's still in
Just
the
a
house.
second, just a second.
So if this plaintiff lets the dogs out, can the landlord withhold security?
No, unless actual damage has been done to the property or they violate the lease terms itself, no.
That's pretty compelling. What do you say?
I agree with him. The landlord can't withhold that security. Dog's got to go and a dog's got to go.
Well, it wasn't the dog's got to go. He let it out and shouldn't have let it out.
If it's in the contract and you violate the contract, the landlord should be able to do what he wants.
Okay, we'll find out going inside the courtroom.
Shang is still in the house at this point.
Am I gonna see? Is that him?
Yeah. So now he's looking for the dog. He stopped because he's looking for the dog, and he does that 2 or 3 more times. He's
there
standing there
anyone
looking
else
for
in
the
the house?
dog. Now he doesn't know what to do.
Is there anyone else in the house?
One of my renters was upstairs, which I have a video of Mark giving a deposition or a statement for you to listen to. So he's still hanging out there because now he knows the dog's somewhere.
What are you don't want to return a security deposit because you accidentally let your dog out?
No, I was at work.
Right.
And again, just by luck, I was playing this and I saw this happen. So I had to leave work to come home to let my dog back in. He could have called us.
Why didn't you just call the neighbor who was upstairs and tell him, can you let the dog back?
Because initially I didn't know Mark was home. I didn't know Mark was home at that time. So I rushed home in order to let Noah back in.
How far do you live from work?
26 miles.
Where do you work?
Country club.
And what do you do for them?
I'm a caddy. I caddy in the mornings.
So you rushed home from work, and according to you, you didn't go back to work?
No, because the loops that we take are all morning loops. You got to be out by 11 o'clock at the latest. There aren't any loops after that.
Do you have any proof from the country club that you...
I have a video of my boss on here. He and I are talking at the golf course.
This one?
Yep. Hi, this is Peter Adams. I'm with my boss, Jimmy, and on 5/17, when I had to leave early, Jimmy is going to confirm that I make between $200 and $240 for a loop, which is carrying 2 bags. I left about 10 o'clock in the morning because I had to go home because of Shane leaving my dog out. Jimmy's here just to confirm that I work and that is the rate that I would normally make.
How did you know your dog was out?
That information is accurate.
You're at the golf course and you have to leave the golf course.
He averages
How do you know that you have to leave the golf course?
But my video surveillance is on my phone.
What do? You're like about to do a loop and you're looking at video surveillance to see if something bad happens?
Just by luck, ma'am. Just by luck.
I just don't understand why you don't just text him and the other people who live there and say, is anybody home? I think the dog is out.
Ma'am, I didn't know they were home.
Well, why don't you find out by
Because
texting them and
they're
asking,
working.
is anybody home?
Because
Including the guy who you, according to you saw just as it was happening. Text him and say, you need to go back to the house. You let the dog out or anything like that. Do either of you have the text between you two on your phones?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
At this time, no, I mean.
Okay,
Yeah.
they'll be in there. And you said that there was a video, this one is a video of one of the other renters?
That's Mark.
Okay,
yeah.
stay where you are?
Yeah,
Okay,
starting from here.
that's all right.
Yes, hi. My name is Mark Edwards. I've lived in Peter's house for approximately a year. Noah's a friendly dog, and Noah is not the kind of dog that I've noticed would ever just run around the yard freely.
Well, in that video, he's running around the yard freely, so that's ironic.
Shane was very, very arrogant in a lot of ways. He slammed things everywhere. He stayed up until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and often that kept all the tenants up also. I saw him that day. I heard him that day when he left the back kitchen door once because he always slammed it when he left. He went out to his car. He came back in because the door opened again, but it didn't slam, which means he left the door open in the kitchen. And that was all I know, what I remember seeing.
Well, if you saw that, why didn't you go find the dog?
I don't know. All we know is that as far as the video surveillance is concerned, If
You know what? The only thing I know is that your dog is the cutest thing on the planet.
Thanks.
Did you ever send a written notice of your intent to keep the deposit and why?
Yeah.
May I see it?
Sure.
So you sent him an email on the 30th. These are the fees you are being charged that are all legit. $25 late fee for April, $68 for the use of the electric heater not allowed in the lease, and $210 in lost wages. That totals to $303. I'll expect your $3 to be in my account by July 9th. For all we know, you did it on purpose. You don't really think that. You know he didn't do it on purpose.
I don't know that, ma'am. I don't know that.
According to you, you're telling me to look how he's looking around for the dog. Which is it? And what is your response to that? Because you do kind of linger at the door, and it's kind of like you're looking for something. It makes it slightly more difficult to believe that you didn't realize that you let the dog out.
I just check the surroundings and anything because actually he mentioned that there's some bear in the surrounding area before, right? So just to be the safety, right?
The thing is, you're suing for $600 because Connecticut law holds that a landlord has to return the security deposit and send written notice of why he is keeping the money, or it becomes double if he violates any of that. But he says he emailed you on the 30th of June. You got the email, right?
30th of June, yes.
Yeah, and that is within the 30 days of notifying you. So I find that the email suffices as written notice. As for the dog issue, assuming for a moment, there are two things I have to assume. Number one, that he opened the door and let the dogs out, and he let the dogs out.
He left the door open.
I'm agreeing with you on that. I think that's
open.
what happened. I think that the videos do show that's what happened.
Why wouldn't he call me to let me know
I'm
that?
sorry. Stop talking over me.
Sorry.
I think the videos do show that's what happened. But there are a couple of things that concern me. Number one, you're telling me, and he owes me $220 because of that, because I had to go home. You're telling me that, but your only proof of that doesn't come from your employer saying that you left and did not come back. Your only proof of that comes from a guy in a baseball hat and in a video saying what you want him to say. That's not the same as bringing me proof from an employer, which is what people do when they have lost wages cases. When you have a lost wage case, you got to prove that. But that's one. But two, and slightly more esoteric, is the following. The fact that you leave home and leave work when there's someone there who you don't text or call to say, hey, I just saw my dog is out. Can you make sure the dog gets back in? That is a choice that you might make. Is that compensable? Is that is that something that is a reasonably foreseeable renter's expense? I'm not sure. I don't have to get to it because you didn't bring me real proof of lost wages. But, it's kind of questionable, especially when there's another renter there who claims to have seen the whole thing, and you could just call him and tell him let the dog back in.
He normally would have been at work, ma'am. He was just there just by luck.
Except for that, we know he's there, and you could text him because you text him. So why don't you just text the other guy?
I didn't know he was there when Shane was home.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But why don't you find out if any of your other roommates are
Because
there?
they normally would be working. That's why I wouldn't even consider calling them.
And then how do I know that you didn't drive home, let the dog back in, and drive back to work and not miss out? And you're just angry.
Because the loops
How do I
are
know
all-
that?
Yeah.
I find in favor of the plaintiff in this case because I find that you have not sustained your burden. To be able to deduct anything, the landlord has to sustain their burden of proof, okay? That by a preponderance of the evidence, it is more likely than not that things happen their way. So I do not find that you've proven a right to deduct from it, but I'm not going to order you to pay him double. I am ordering you to pay him the $300 verdict for the plaintiff. Good luck, folks.
So the defendant is ordered to give back the $300 he originally got as security. What happened that day?
I had to come back home to let the dog
Where
back
was
in.
the dog? Did he run away?
He was in my yard, walking.
So he didn't run away?
No, but it's 2 acres. It's a lot of property.
I understand, but you left us hanging.
This gentleman should have called us to let us know the dog was out.
Are you sure he knew the dog was out?
Oh yeah, he knew it was out. It's all on video.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, Mr. Dye, you're only going to get $300, but that's what the original security. You okay with that? Did you know the dog was out, by the way? He
I
says
was
you
not
did.
sure. I was taking out my stuff and then
You weren't sure then?
I was not sure. Yes. Uh-huh.
That's what I thought. Okay, well, you get your money back, all right?
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay. Harvey?
So, Doug, the landlord can withhold security for 2 reasons and 2 reasons only: damage to the unit and back rent. That's it. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Alicia Constantino. She says the defendant's 2 vicious dogs pulled her to the ground in order to get to her dog, and they attacked. Her dog was badly bitten, and she was also bitten. The defendant hasn't paid her anything towards her medical bill and vet bills. He's not a very nice neighbor, so she's not going to be very nice today in this courtroom because she wants her $2,610.80, just what she's suing for. This is the defendant, Matthew Aaronholtz. He says the plaintiff's dog is the vicious dog who has bitten before, and she has some nerve suing him when his dogs were on their leashes and hers wasn't. Her dog attacked his dogs. His dogs defended themselves, and he was injured as well in the melee. He's accused of failing to control his canines. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $2,500 for wasted time and aggravation and pain and suffering for his injuries.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant's 2 vicious dogs pulled her to the ground as they tried to get at her dog. She says that she and her dog were bitten, but the defendant says the plaintiff's dog is the vicious one. It's the case of dog eat dog world.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Ms. Constantino, you are suing your neighbor, Mr. Aaronholtz, for $2,610.80 in vet bills and lost wages because, according to you, his dogs attacked your dog. You have a counterclaim against her because you say it's her fault, not yours, and you suffered pain, suffering, and aggravation. Okay, talk to me. You first, Ms. Constantino. What happened?
I was returning home. I had laundry. We live in a secure building, but unfortunately, it's a 5-unit building, and one of our neighbors had propped open the door.
What door?
The outside door that's usually secure.
Okay.
I opened my apartment door. My dog ran out the door. He just scooted out the door, down to the bottom of the stairs. Mr. Aaronholtz was walking his 2 dogs in our yard. It's a community yard. His dogs were on a leash. Mine was not. But his dogs knocked him to the ground in an effort to get away from him and met my dog at the bottom of the stairs. I was 2 steps behind my dog.
So were they off leash when they attacked your dog?
Yes, they were.
So he let go of the leash?
Yes. I don't know if he let go or they got away from him. It's 2 very large dogs.
Okay.
They were at the bottom of the stairs. I immediately got into the middle of it to pry them apart. I was bitten twice. My dog was bitten once. I scooped up my dog. I ran back up the stairs.
What did nobody went to see what was, he was horizontal.
I
right?
didn't.
Okay.
I didn't, no.
Okay.
I ran back up the stairs. I was concerned about my dog, and I obviously was bitten. I ran up the stairs. My daughter was.
Did you say anything to him during that time?
I was just screaming that the dogs were going to kill him. His dogs are much larger
Was
than
he
mine.
saying something?
I don't know.
Okay, go on.
I immediately bundled him and took him to the vet. We came home that night. He came upstairs. He apologized. I'm going to get some money together. I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to help you. Never mentioned that he was injured in any way.
So what was wrong with your dog?
He had been bitten. He's much smaller. He'd been bitten across the back. And they explained to me that they tend to shake when they bite. So the muscle had torn away from the bone and they had to repair it. He had to have surgery that night. They had to hold him overnight. I wasn't able to pick him up until the next morning. I picked him up. He had to have drains put in his back, which had to be cleaned. He had to be kept, low activity, just. Do
you have the vet bills?
I do.
Did you ever hand them over, please? Did you ever discuss with him and say, I think you should pay these vet bills?
I didn't, no, but I did, after he came up and said, he would, I'll get money together, this, that.
Right.
I never received anything. So I reached out to my family lawyer, and my family lawyer had actually sent him a letter. And then he responded to the lawyer and said, well, it's sort of my fault, so I'll give her $1,000. But then he never came to me with anything.
All right, let's talk, you and I. What happened?
So if 2 dogs get into it, but one's off leash, is the owner of the one that's off leash automatically responsible?
Yes, you're responsible for your dog and its actions, and if you know your dog should be on a leash around other dogs and you let it off its leash and it attacks someone or another dog, you should be held liable for that.
What do you say?
I agree. But it also depends if there's like signs posted that dogs should be on the leash.
Fair point. Last word.
It also depends on if the dog's previously attacked someone, because if the dog on the leash has previously attacked someone, then they have a previous history of being vicious.
Interesting point. I'm not sure I agree going inside the courtroom.
I was out with the dogs in the backyard, going to the bathroom after work, on their leashes.
The dogs, not you.
Both of us,
Yeah.
all three of us, actually.
I meant you were.
I don't use the bathroom in the yard.
Okay.
And we're outside with the dogs, and her dog escaped, came down, barking and attacking them, and they
Okay, hold on one second. Barking and attacking are two different
growling,
things. How was the
charging.
dog attacking?
By coming down, barking at them, charging at them.
Did her dog jump or bite your dogs first? You're not saying that, are you?
No, I'm not saying
All right,
that.
now your dog is what kind of dog?
He's a rescue. We don't know.
Okay, you went like this. Show me again.
Last vet checkup, he weighed 32 pounds. He's
Okay.
about this big. He's tall. He's got long legs.
And what kind of dogs do you have?
I have 2 German Shepherds, a 10-year-old and a 2-year-old.
All right. Now, did they get loose from you?
I got dragged to the ground, lost the control. I was going in for hand surgery the next week.
What were you going for hand surgery for?
The nerve damage, carpal.
Is that the hand that you had the
Yeah.
leash in?
Yeah,
The one that you were going to
Yeah.
surgery in the following week?
yeah.
And you had 2 German Shepherds that you're
Yeah,
supposed to keep.
if
Hold on
no
a second.
one-
Let me finish my question.
Yep, sorry.
You had 2 German Shepherds, and the law is that you have to have the dogs under your control. Okay. Clearly, she didn't have her dog under her control, but her argument is, well, Judge, neither did he. He's walking 2 German Shepherds when he's going to have hand surgery the following week. In the hand he's going to have the surgery in, and lo and behold, they dragged right away from him and got to my dog. So she's arguing that you also had no control, right?
Yes.
All right. So why are you suing for the entire vet bill plus your lost wages if you agree that it's partially your fault?
That's what my lawyer advised me to do.
Okay. And why have you paid 0 if you agree that it is also your fault?
Because her lawyer tried to sue me for $5,500 or so, somewhere's around there. And when I talked to him, I never heard back from him. So it kind of sullied the agreement of trying to get her money if she wanted to keep going for more money.
All right. So what are you counterclaiming for the $2,500 for pain and suffering,
Well, I was
time and
bruised.
aggravation?
I bruised up. I went to work. I had to,
Did you go to a doctor either?
No,
Neither one of you went to a doctor.
No, I did not.
Okay, on your counterclaim against her 0, I don't think that she is responsible for paying you $2,500 in pain and suffering. And on your claim against him, we have to figure out who here is more responsible. Is it the man who at least had his dogs on a leash, or is it the lady who lets the dog out? Is it the lady who accidentally lets a dog out, or the guy who deliberately has 2 German Shepherds on a leash that he can't possibly control if something happens? It's an interesting question. You had made a comment in your answer to the complaint that dog was a yappy dog, that dog...
He barks constantly. He just, he's got issues.
Okay, but has that dog bit another dog or attacked anybody?
I've heard from people but I don't know. I have
I've
no
heard
proof.
things.
I've heard,
Okay.
I have
You have
no
any
proof.
evidence?
I have no evidence.
Right?
I wouldn't. I do know that if the dog didn't come out, nothing would have happened.
That's true. And you know how else nothing might have happened? If you had control over your dogs, right? Both things are true. But yes, I agree with you that it is more her fault than yours, for sure. I am going to find you 75% liable and you 25% liable. I'm ordering you to pay a quarter of the vet bills, which are $577.77. That's my verdict.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff does prevail, and the defendant is going to have to pay just a quarter of what she was seeking, a little over $500. How do you feel about that?
Her dog was off leash.
Yep.
Caused the problem.
But you lost control of yours too. So
Well, you know what? If her dog never escaped, nothing would have happened.
well, the judge said
Nothing would
that.
have
Judge
happened.
agreed.
That
She should have
changed
taken the
everything.
$1,000.
I offered, and then she sued.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir. All right, Ms. Constantino, obviously the question to you is, are you sorry you didn't take the $1,000?
No, because I don't believe he would have paid it either way. He had ample notice of what the damages were and never made any attempt to contact me or make good on any of it. So I don't believe that his offer was genuine anyway. So I believe this probably was the only way I was going to get anything.
All right, you'll be more careful next time.
Absolutely.
With your dog.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. All righty. Ivy?
So when a dog is off leash, there is automatic liability because if the dog were on a leash, then you could control the dog and there wouldn't be a bite in the first place. But in this case, it made sense for the judge to apportion liability.